What does it take for a stretch of land to be considered truly unequaled on a global scale? Size alone is rarely enough. We find an answer in this historic piece of literature that stakes a massive claim about a specific geography. If you look at the opening lines, it points directly to a pair of extreme physical opposites. First, there is the absolute, immovable might of the Himalayas. The text calls it the mighty Himavant, a freezing, rigid barrier of rock and ice that holds a staggering physical power, walling the subcontinent in. But right alongside that frozen rigidity is its exact opposite, the dynamic, life-giving flow of the Ganga River. This is an ancient, moving force where millions have gathered for millennia to wash, drink, and live. The poem describes the river's output as generous, applying a sense of grace to the water. That grace acts as the necessary counterweight to the mountain's heavy, imposing isolation. A peerless foundation, then, requires both. It demands a flawless harmony between immovable, skyscraping might and an endless, nourishing flow. When a civilization develops between towering peaks and endless waters, you have to ask what kind of intellect is forged by such extreme geographic realities. The result is a tradition of intense philosophical inquiry. It produced Brahma-knowledge, the exploration of the universe's ultimate reality, and the Upanishads, texts that stand as the supreme philosophical scriptures of the land. For centuries, ancient sages retreated into these harsh extremes, spending their lives in quiet meditation to seek answers to the heaviest questions of existence. The sheer scale of those deep-rooted spiritual traditions is a direct reflection of the vast, uncompromising landscape that birthed them. Surviving in this space also demanded a martial ferocity. History here is written with the blood of gallant warriors who stood against charging armies and violent clashes to protect these sacred spaces. Yet, from the exact same blood-soaked soil sprang the ultimate contrast. A figure radiating absolute stillness, the Buddha. By preaching his Dhamma, or cosmic law and order, the Buddha offered a path of strict non-violence and inner peace that rippled outward to shape the spiritual landscape of the entire globe. A civilization's true resilience is tested by its extremes. The triumph here is the rare ability to cultivate both the sword and the lotus, mastering the harshness of war while achieving the heights of spiritual peace. This brings us to a concept the poet calls hoary antiquity. We are looking at a timeline so incredibly deep that it outlasts the rise and fall of individual empires, maintaining a continuous, living cultural identity. You can see the physical proof of this timeline carved into stone. These are the complex temple structures that have weathered centuries of storms and still stand today as markers of that unbroken lineage. When you merge the fierce and the peaceful, the immovable and the flowing, you get what the text describes as a sunny golden land, a place where divine music and auspicious traditions converge. This ethic vision of India was codified by one specific voice. It was captured by the poet Subramania Bharati, who saw the perfection in his country's contradictions. He looked at the brutal cold of the mountains, the life-giving grace of the rivers, the quiet wisdom of the sages, the violence of the warriors, and the ultimate peace of the Buddha. And he realized that it is precisely this fusion of opposing extremes that makes the land truly peerless, leaving us with a simple, ecstatic call to action, to recognize its greatness, and let's praise her.